after you've put your dough together and it's resting, it's usually a good time to feed the starter that you have or put it away, depending on how much you have left. I just put together 2 loaves of bread and I used up almost all of that starter. There is just a tiny bit left in the bottom of the jar. So what I'm going to do is put it in a new jar because I'm not going to keep that large amount because I don't plan on baking again, and I have one in the fridge. So what I'm going to do is scoop it all out of this jar. And pop it into a little one. All right. So that's probably about 30 grams. It's gonna be like 31 grams. And we're gonna add in 31 grams of flour. And I probably shouldn't be using such a tiny jar for 31 grams because when I let this rise to get bubbly, it's probably gonna overflow the jar. But I'm gonna keep it in the fridge, and so I don't really envision me letting it come to like double in size. So I think I'll be okay. All right, see, because it's almost filling that jar. All right, so then you just stir it all up. And actually, since I'm gonna put this in the fridge, I'm gonna feed it a little bit more to make it really thick. And that way I won't have to worry about feeding it again in a while. I'm just gonna stick it in there and do a little experiment and see how long it takes for it to look like it's not thriving anymore. So, see how thick I'm making it. All right. So, now we're gonna pop that in the fridge, and it'll be good for, I don't know, probably more than a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll put the date on it. All right, the other thing I wanted to talk about was cleaning up. I had mentioned earlier that you don't want dough remnants or starter remnants to go down your pipes. So what I do after I've put my dough together is I use a stiff bowl scraper or a bench scraper like this, and I scrape. Sometimes I'll let the bowl dry and then I'll scrape it, and you can see all of the scrapings that came out, and then I throw that in the trash, and then I just wash the bowl with hot water, and I will let the rest of that go down the drain, and then I just let the water run for a little bit to wash out any remnants from the pipes. And then the other thing that I thought of was when I put the starter together last night, and I talked about the temperature of the room, that the room was 70 degrees, and so I figured it would take a few hours for the starter to come to peak. During the summer, when it's hotter, your stuff will always rise faster, come to peak faster. And in the winter, it can sometimes double the amount of time it takes to rise and be done. So, so just keep that in mind when you get baking, and you'll get to be good to the point where you can kind of guess accurately when you think it's going to be done. All right, be back in a bit.